Welcome, y'all. Welcome to New Progressive Era. I am the host, Drake Hunt. Basically, for the format moving forward, what we're going to be doing is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, hour-long segments. Then we're going to be hosting a little Q&A thing, live stream on Saturdays, every other Saturday. We're going to be trying to do it twice a month. So welcome, man. Welcome. If it's your first time, as I said, warm welcome to you, man. If you like what I got to say in terms of a progressive vision for the country, this is your home. And if not, at least keep an open mind and heart and hear me out, man. And to any of my dedicated subscribers who are tuning back in, I appreciate the support, brother. Appreciate the support and sister. Appreciate the support. So yeah, man, as I said, this is gonna be the format moving forward. You know, we got the big honcho microphone up in here. We're gonna have a camera coming in and a green screen backdrop in a week or two. So y'all just chill out and we're gonna get it all professionalized and whatnot. But for now, y'all just sit back and enjoy this. We got the aesthetic. We got the little window with the, what I'm saying? It's a nice little thing going on. So, appreciate the vibes. You know what I'm saying? So let's dive right into it, man. A little info on me first. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Drake. As I said, I'm 18 years old. I'm a young, dedicated, bold progressive. That's what I represent, man. I want a progressive vision for the country. And I'm an issues oriented guy, man. I don't dive into the culture war division crap. What I dive into are the true problems plaguing America at the root in terms of the economic instability, in terms of the inequality, in terms of the education deficit, in terms of the healthcare crisis, the climate crisis that is hemorrhaging trillions of dollars and lives every single day. Right, in terms of the housing crisis, in terms of the real economic issues plaguing the American people. Money buys power. And right now, the vast majority of us don't have that money. We're broke as balls. And that is why we don't have the power. That is why this game is being rigged against us every single day. That's my vision for the country. That's my vision for the future. What I want to see is those scales balanced. Not equal outcome, but equal opportunity. That's what I represent, and that's what this show is all about. We're gonna be diving mainly into politics, a little bit of culture stuff too. Just keep you entertained. Sometimes it's cool to talk about life and maybe a little dash of my own personal life. Maybe you want to know a little bit more about me. So I've been told, I'm pretty entertaining. Judge for yourself. We'll see. But yeah, man, that's the show. So y'all just sit back, chillax, and enjoy the ride. So let's dive into the first story of the day. We got Donald Trump. Dude did a Mount Rushmore speech. He went down to Mount Rushmore. He didn't ask for approval of the native peoples whose land that was for thousands of years. They said just simply ask for permission. Nope. He ain't asked for no goddamn permission because it's Donald Trump. He doesn't give a damn about the native peoples, doesn't give a damn about disadvantaged communities. He only cares about his base and basically fanning the flames of division across the country. That's what he represents. So he went and did this Mount Rushmore rally. Also did it with no real social distancing, no mask policy. Hey, just wear a mask coming into the rally. No, didn't ask for any of that. The South Dakota governor actually went ahead and before the rally said, we're not going to be social distancing. What? Went on national TV and said that. That's how little of a damn they care about the COVID crisis. So at the Mount Rushmore rally, man, it was the same old playbook that he's been basically playing out for the past 3 months or so, man. Instead of focusing on the real issues, these scary times, the COVID crisis, the economic crisis, instead of focusing on that and being presidential, being the leader that we need, he's fanning the flames of division. Mainly in this speech, it was about BLM. It was about the protest movements. It was about the statue tearing. It was about trying to, again, fan the flames of division. So go ahead and check out a couple of clips of what he said. He said some really interesting stuff about the left and what we're trying to do.
Make no mistake, this left-wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution. Our children are taught in school to hate their own country and to believe that the men and women who built it were not heroes, but that were villains. Is witnessing a merciless campaign to wipe out our history, to fame our heroes, erase our values, and indoctrinate our children. They think the American people are weak and soft and submissive. But no, the American people are strong and proud, and they will not allow our country and all of its values, history, and culture to be taken from them.
What y'all think about that, man? What y'all think about that? Me personally, I think that's a load of bullshit. And if we're really being honest, that ain't about to win. It's not gonna win. Because let's dive into how stupid that strategy is. Trying to paint the Democratic side, the establishment, neoliberal establishment of the Democratic Party, as far left, as just puppets of the far left, the radical insurgency, that's terrible. We're trying to, a cultural revolution. Joe Biden, a cultural revolution. Joe Biden is nowhere near on the political spectrum of Mao Zedong. He's nowhere near Bernie Sanders. He's nowhere near that. He's nowhere near. I wish he was near Bernie Sanders. But this is the playbook, right? Trying to fan the flames of division, the culture war, right? He's trying to basically shore up support amongst the most fervent of his supporters who are there with him no matter what, who will dive into the culture war crap, who've been drunk on Fox News propaganda for 30 plus years. And that's a terrible fucking strategy, man. It's terrible. Look how it's working out for him. All right. I'm going to put up the real clear politics average. You see this? You see this? Now, y'all see this. Y'all see the real clear politics average. Y'all see this guy is up by, on average, 8.7 points in the recent polls. Biden plus 9, Biden plus 8, Biden plus 12, Biden plus 8. This guy is winning in some general election polls in Georgia, in North Carolina. He's in play in Texas, Arizona. These are supposed to be Republican holy grails. You're not supposed to win Texas as a Democratic candidate. You're not supposed to win Georgia. I'm not saying this is Georgia, I'm from Georgia. This is not like some far right state. The demographics are changing, but that's not supposed to be in play for another 10, 15 years. Biden could win Georgia. Biden could win Texas. Biden is now competitive in virtually every state in the country. This is now reality. This strategy is not going to win, right? When you're just trying to fan the fucking flames, the culture war crap, right? When you're trying to tell people, hey, pick a side, instead of focusing on the reality of everyday struggle here in America. The reality is people are dying every day because of COVID. People are scared. They're terrified. They're shaking in their boots. Most people are afraid to go outside, bro. This is the reality because a virus is going around. We're in a pandemic. 150,000 people have died that did not need to die. As the rest of the developed world has gotten this virus under control in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Canada, all across the globe, here in the United States, cases are spiking. And they're spiking mainly in the South and the West, not like as a rule that it has to be a Trump state, but in mainly Trump states where his message is ringing far clear in terms of, oh, no, it doesn't matter about the masks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the mask where it's handling it. 99% of these cases are harmless. Don't even worry. It's being in those states, cases are spiking. Florida spiking, right? In Texas spiking. All across the country, in the South and the West, it's spiking. People are seeing that. People are saying that this guy's rhetoric is directly related to a COVID spike, the loss of thousands and thousands of lives. This is life or death. This is real. You see what I'm saying? So the tides have changed, right? In earlier election cycles, it was much easier to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not life or death. But times have changed, my guy. We're now in a crisis. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their lives. This is a pandemic. This is unprecedented. You can't continue on by not being presidential. You can't continue on being a joke and simply playing the political game. People aren't going to accept that because it is life or death. And it's crazy. He's lost his touch. You know what I'm saying? He understood this 4 years ago, that it's life or death. He understood that we're now facing inequality. We're now facing a jobs crisis, that 70+% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. You can't continue on with the same playbook. He understood that 4 years ago. And that's what he ran on. He ran to the left of Hillary on some economic populist issues. But this guy's lost the touch. He's lost that populist touch where he can just hit right on the nerve that a vast majority of people are really feeling right now. This disillusion with politics. And it's only gotten worse because of COVID. But this guy doesn't realize he's too far up that Fox News toxic establishment Republican bubble. Establishment Democrats play along with it too. They're only focusing on the issues that don't really matter right now. None of the establishment around here right now trying to make an impact on the COVID crisis, to make an impact on the economic crisis, on the fact that millions of people have lost their jobs, that you're talking about an eviction crisis looming over our heads. But Trump, especially, this guy, he's lost the touch, man. He's lost the touch. He's bought fully into that establishment Republican playbook, and it's not gonna work, dog. You see the polls. You see the polls. There was an economist study. Basically, it was their model, and it was saying that there is a higher likelihood of this model happening. I'm going to put up the graphic. You're seeing, as I said, Georgia in play, Texas in play, Arizona in play. These are not states that Biden is supposed to be competitive in. This is more likely than Trump even winning. You see what I'm saying? It's not working. It's not going to work. People are done. They're done. The Overton window has now moved to the left. Because in times of crisis, in times of desperation, people finally realize maybe a UBI isn't so radical. UBI supporters surge. Maybe Medicare for all isn't so radical. Maybe tuition-free college isn't so radical. Maybe a Green New Deal isn't so radical. The Overton window has moved to the left. But Trump, he's only further up the establishment Republican ass. That's really what it boils down to. And the establishment Democrats, they're sold out to the core as well. So it's, as I said, man, it's looking like Biden is going to be the next president of the United States. If Trump keeps this game up of only focusing on the culture war, only focusing on the statues, oh, the established, the left, the radical left, they're coming for you, If he continues this on, dude, this guy's not going to win. People are done with the crap. That's really what it boils down to. And honestly, at this point, I'm at the point that, before I was saying, well, I don't know if I'm going to support Biden. I hate the guy. He's an establishment Democrat. He's a neoliberal con. This guy doesn't support the policies that I support. He doesn't support real progressive economics. He isn't a progressive. Why would I vote for the guy? He's going to sell out my community time and time again, as he has for the last 50 years. But Biden wouldn't set the military on protesters. Biden would at least institute maybe a nationwide mask order. Biden would have invested in the structures that prevent a pandemic like this happening in the first place. That's the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Joe Biden can at least handle basic governing. Donald Trump is nowhere near that, man. It's a scary time. And honestly, at this point, I'm at the point you might really have to choose the lesser of two evils. That's really what it boils down to, man. So it's time to get his ass up out of there, plain and simple. All right, next story, man. Yeezus, Kanye West, yay, he's running for president. Yay, no. Oh my God, I hate stories like this. He's running for president. Okay, I'm gonna put up the Kanye tweet. Okay, hold on, I'm getting there. All right, here's the Kanye tweet, y'all. Hold on, we're getting there. Here's the Kanye tweet. We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, building our future. I am running for president of the United States. Puts the American flag, hashtag 2020 vision. We got some Trumpian elements up in there. No surprise, because, he's infamously been a Trump supporter. Then he revoked the support. Then he gave it, I don't know. I don't follow the celebrity, I'm not really big into the pop culture crap when it comes to people like Kanye West. I've never been a big fan of Kanye's music to begin with. Like, just keep it a buck with you. I've never been a huge fan of his music. Like, I bumped with some of his earlier stuff. Like, I think Graduation was a cool album. And the rest, bro, he's an arrogant prick. It's really what it boils down to. And nothing is better evidence of that than him thinking that this is a great time for him to run for president. Wow. The two options suck. The country needs a unifying force. Who can do it? Me, Kanye West. Yes. Niggas in Paris. No, nigga, no. Please leave. And then you had Kim K. She came out. She reposted it with a little American flag. That's a mess. Elon Musk and Mark Cuban tweeted support. Mark Cuban, a guy actually previously kind of respected and admired. I watched Shark Tank. I think he's a cool dude. Some of the stuff he says, at least on economic populism, I largely agree with. This guy, he said, if it was ranked voting, I'd put Kanye West at the top of the list. What the hell is wrong with you? This is a mess. This is, and it would largely be a joke, but on the serious side of this is real. Kanye West is not some small player. He's not just some fringe celebrity. I'm gonna run for president. Like people do that type of stuff every election cycle. But this is Kanye West we're talking about. This isn't, Kanye West is one of the biggest names in music. All right, this guy has millions and millions of followers and supporters. Maybe not political supporters, but certainly people who, if he touched into the right message, would flock behind him and support him. And this is dangerous, guys. As I've said, the stakes are too high. The stakes are far too high. In the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of an economic depression, in the middle of trauma across the nation, we don't need someone like Kanye West potentially taking away from the soft, delicate support that Joe Biden has because he's a terrible candidate, and then potentially swinging the election toward Trump. That's the worst nightmare. You don't want to see that. So it's a scary thing, man. And as I said, plenty of disaffected voters might actually vote for Kanye. So that's a fact. Biden has soft support. I saw recent numbers saying 20, 25% of people are actually enthusiastic about voting for Biden. And me, I'm probably in that category in terms of unenthusiastic support. I don't want to fucking vote for Biden. You know what I'm saying? If the right guy came along and ran a third-party campaign, I might have to seriously consider it if he were on the right policies and if we weren't in the middle of such turbulent, crazy times. But some people aren't tuned into that. They don't realize how dangerous these times really are. They don't realize the stakes. So in terms of potential support that he could get, he's running as an independent. He's not going to be on the ballot in 6 states already. He's past the deadline. He hasn't filed with the FEC, so we don't even know if this is for sure. But he did say he was going to do this 4 years ago. This might actually happen. So it's scary, man. I don't want him to be the factor that ends up turning this election over to Trump. And then we have 4 more years of worsened chaos. This is as bad as it could possibly get. This is as bad as many of us have seen in generations. This is the worst it's ever gotten in my lifetime in terms of just the state of the country. It seems like we're facing off an abyss. We can either turn back around and head towards normal and head towards some version of stability, or we can fall off that goddamn cliff. That could be the factor that pushes us off the cliff. I don't want to see something like that happen, man. So I'm not in support of this. It's scary. I've heard a few of my boys already say they might support the guy. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I don't know, man. It's a fucking joke, but it has the potential not to be. So just stay tuned for that. All right, next story. This kind of gets into the kind of my point of the last story, man. Biden is the only option. This is really what it boils down to. Biden is the only option. And I know many of my followers, many of the people who are going to be watching this video, y'all might disagree. Y'all still might be in the camp saying never Biden, never Biden, never Biden. The system has effed us over far too many times. Why would I go and support the lesser of two evils, do the little shit scale gains again? Why would I do something like that? Why would I sell out my principles, sell out my community, and vote for somebody like this neoliberal scum, this rapist war criminal? I hear you. I completely agree with you. But this gets to the main point, man. Pre-COVID, that was fair. Pre-COVID, I was with you, bro. I was like, I'm probably not going to vote for the guy. He sucks. He's a terrible candidate. Guy can't put together words. The Democratic establishment, with their corrupt backroom deals, they swung this election in his favor. I hate that. I hate it to my core. And I want to see that system change. I just like you. I really fucking do. But guys, pre-COVID, that was fair. This is post-COVID. This is COVID. You know what I'm saying? We are in the middle of a crisis. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are losing their lives every single day. This has the potential to become a catastrophe of a scale we've never seen in modern America. When you're talking about the jobs being lost, hemorrhaging, trillions of dollars being lost in the global economy. When you're talking about a healthcare crisis, the health system is being pushed to the brink. The planet is still dying. When you're talking about all the factors coming to a head right now in this moment in 2020, we can't play around. You can't play around. This guy Trump has lost his marbles, bro. He's lost his marbles. Before pre-COVID, okay. I could deal with the mean tweets. I could deal with the crap. And sometimes it was kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? The guy's hilarious. He's a meme. this is no longer a joke. This guy's ineptitude, I think that's the word. This guy's lack of governing, this guy's lack of stability and mental acumen, basic governing, it's losing lives. It's the reason that 150,000 people have died due to this pandemic, that millions of people lost their jobs. He had the choice at the start of this pandemic to do basic things that every other developed nation did. Germany nationalized the payroll. UK nationalized the payroll, or at least instituted a policy in place where the jobs could be furloughed and that the payroll could largely be taken up by the government, right? All across the developed world, they instituted a UBI, right? They gave towards small businesses in a huge way. They prioritized the people. They prioritized small businesses. They prioritized middle America. That's not what Donald Trump did. He didn't prioritize lives. He didn't prioritize putting in place infrastructures that help bolster the health system. Instead, this guy's on national TV every single day talking about how this doesn't matter. It's just the flu. It'll be gone. Never wearing a mask. Telling other people don't wear a mask. I don't care. This is what this guy's been pushing. Lives are being lost. So I'm not at the point where I can simply say, hey, man, I'm not going to sell out my principles again. I can't do that because it's not about the principles anymore. It's about life or death. It's about life or death. Do you want millions to be lost due to this virus? Or do you want us to go back to some version of stability? Now, I'm not saying a Biden presidency isn't going to be a disaster. Of course it will, but it will be a better disaster. It'll be a disaster that progressives can work with. It'll be a disaster where millions of lives aren't being lost, where we can put together some version of order. When this guy's sick in the military on protesters, when this guy's fanning the flames of division every single day, I can't do it. And neither should any single one of y'all, man. This guy has gone crazy. Trump has gone crazy. It was mismanagement of the highest order. Mismanagement of the highest order. They didn't put in place the lockdowns. They didn't put in place the contact tracing. They didn't put in place the PPE. They didn't put in place the structures that we needed to bolster the health system and ensure that this pandemic did not spread out of control. But it did, right? Japan, China, Singapore, all across East Asia, they handled the pandemic perfectly. They didn't handle it perfectly in Europe, but they still put in place the economic measures that protected the economy. Germany's unemployment rate only went up by 1%. Ours went up by double digits. You see the difference? That's all because of Trump. That's all because of his mismanagement. And I guarantee you, if Joe Biden was president, we could mitigate the potential cataclysmic disaster that's going to be going over that cliff moving forward. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Guys, I'm begging you and I'm pleading you to at least consider voting for the guy. Moving forward, we can continue to be the bold progressives that we want to be. But right now, in this moment, we gotta choose the lesser of two evils. You got to. This is really what it boils down to, man. I don't want to do it, and neither should any single one of you. But this is the reality. This is the current circumstances, man. We're in a pandemic, economic crisis, planet's dying, housing crisis, eviction crisis. This moment needs stability. Stability. Then we worry about our progressive values. Then we worry about the good fight. All right? So just consider it, man. So there's been a big debate waging recently about the statues. There's been, over the last couple of weeks, you see all over social media, man, you see people going tearing down monuments, of Woodrow Wilson. The Princeton changed the name of the Wilson Center because, he was a racist and he held the KKK movie in the goddamn White House. It was like 100 years ago. Tearing down monuments. Andrew Jackson obviously did the Trail of Tears, slave-owning fucking racist. Then you see him tearing down statues of George Washington, tearing down statues of any slave-owning big political figure of, 19th and 18th centuries. You know what I'm saying? But then, more understandably, you're seeing them tearing down Confederate monuments, tearing down symbols of hatred, dealing with the Confederacy, dealing with any symbol of hatred and racism of the past. You're seeing that all over the country, man. You see, I think in Baltimore last night, they took down a monument of some Confederate general or some shit and put it in the goddamn river. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not saying I'm not for it. I'm not saying I'm not with you. I understand where the sentiment's coming from, and I agree. I hate those symbols of racism and xenophobia and vitriol. I hate it. Hate it to my core, man. I grew up in the South. I grew up down there in Georgia, man. Down there in Georgia, it's in your face every single day. It's all in your face. The hate, the racism, the Confederate flags just waving in your goddamn face, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always there. Those symbols are a constant reminder. Down there at the Georgia State Capitol, there's a monument of Confederate general. Dude might have actually owned my family. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I really do get it, dude. But this is what y'all gotta understand. This is not where our energy needs to be placed right now. This moment is not asking for us to be focusing on statues. This moment's asking for us to be focusing on the root of why this system is so corrupt. Because if you really want Black lives to matter, this is what I've been saying this entire time, ever since these protests started, after George Floyd was killed and moving forward. This is what I've been saying this entire time. This isn't just about race. This isn't just about what you see on the surface, the black and the white. Oh, it's about racism. It's about white supremacy, blah, blah. No, it's not. That is the surface, but you're forgetting the core. If you really want Black lives to matter, you got to start focusing on the root. And now, what is the root? What I mean by the root is, why are the police out there? Why are the police harassing disadvantaged communities? Not just Black communities, by the way, Latino communities, poor white communities, Native American communities. Why are they out here harassing us? Because it is their job at the core to keep us in line, keep the little peasants in line, take away their will to fight, take away their hope, take away their resilience, take away their will to fight back against the corruption that is killing us every single day in this corrupt game that we call America. That's why the police are out there killing us. That's why those symbols of hatred are there in the first place. It was all about the money. They ain't own slaves just because they hated Black people and they thought we were subhuman. That was the culture, but that culture was there to reinforce it so that they could profit off of our labor. They took away the Native American land so they could profit off of their land. This is a rich, resourceful country. Why not take away all their land? Gonna make more money doing it. Gotta push forward, right? Western expansion. Manifest destiny. That's why they took away the natives' lands, right? They don't want Latino communities to prosper and be amazing, right? They don't want them to start having any piece of the pie because they want to keep them in line. The illegal labor, the legal labor, whatever they represent with the Latino community and the Black community, they want all that to stay in place. They want you to continue to be the bottom rung that holds up this corrupt game. We continue to make the goods, to carry out the services, to continue to make the oligarchs money. They want to keep you in line. Don't you see that? And then they keep you in line by keeping you broke, keeping you oppressed, harassing you with the police officers. And then you have no power, you have no money, you have no influence. So they're at the top, rigging the game continually and reinforcing this corrupt system. That's what it boils down to. That's the root of the problem. And we ain't getting that. We're sitting there focusing on the surface. Oh, the statues, tear it down, tear it down. Oh my God, symbol of hate. I fucking get it, bro. Really do. I hate white supremacy just as much as you do, but I see that white supremacy is only the tool that they have used to oppress me. It has nothing to do with my color. It has to do with them extracting my labor, extracting my people's labor, extracting for every ounce all of our labor and our will to fight so that we never, ever become on equal playing field with them. That's what it boils down to, man. So this is what I want y'all to get. If we truly want Black lives to matter, and, all lives to matter, I even go that far. If we truly want equal opportunity in the level playing field, you got to stop focusing on just the race. You got to focus on the real solutions. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's institute Medicare for all. Black and brown people have died twice as much as white people during this COVID pandemic, right? That's institutional racism. So, wouldn't Medicare for all fix that? If we're all insured, we can all go to the same doctors in the same hospitals, we can all get equal care, equal good care in the richest country in the history of the world. Wouldn't Medicare for all fix that? Or education crisis, the fact that we all go to failing schools, right? That the cycle of poverty continues on and on, generation after generation, because we don't have access to good schools. Wouldn't tuition-free public colleges and universities fix that? When we're all on an equal playing field? Or joblessness, the fact that our communities have an unemployment rate sometimes 1.5, 2, 3 times larger than the white community. Wouldn't a Green New Deal, where millions of decent paying jobs are put in right into disadvantaged communities, helping us rise above? Wouldn't that fix that? You see what I'm saying? Yes. Sometimes I feel like I'm beating a dead drum, man. But I know someone's out there listening. I know y'all. I know I'm getting in there somehow, some way. I know you're hearing me. You know I'm making sense. But you're too angry. This is what you do. You're too focused on the surface. You're too focused on what they want you to see. They want you to play the culture war division game. That's what the establishment Democrats want. That's what the establishment Republicans and Trump want. They want you to keep playing the game, to keep only talking about the race, to stay stupid instead of seeing the bigger picture. That all that division is a ruse and a distraction to keep you from seeing as they loot you and loot your family and take away all your money, to take away your power and rig the game even more against you and your community. It's all a distraction from the bigger looting, the bigger problem, the bigger crisis. So y'all take it or leave it, man. I'm gonna leave you on this in this story. Lil Baby, rapper out of my city, Atlanta. I used to not like him. I never really messed with mumble rappers, but Lil Baby has some slappers. I'm just put that. He has some slap. Anyway, Lil Baby, man, he put out a song recently called "The Bigger Picture," and he was simply saying it's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. Got to focus on the bigger picture. That was the entire message of the song, and I wholeheartedly agree. And I think maybe if y'all kept an open heart and mind and just looked at the bigger picture, look objectively at the situation for 1 second, I think you'll agree with me and Lil Baby. How about that? All right, so I love stories like this, man. I fucking love stories like this. We had a progressive wave. Now, we saw the outer bands of it coming in on June 23rd, but it's coming. More of it is coming. We saw the first signs of it on June 23rd, baby. So we had some huge progressive victories. A couple Tuesdays ago, June 23rd, man. You had Jamal Bowman. First and foremost, Jamal Bowman, that was a huge race up against Elliot Engel, received a good amount of press coverage as well. They were saying he's the next AOC, blah, 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 and it happened. It happened. He won by 25 points. He's a progressive champion, man, all the way down the list. Great progressive candidate down there. He beat Elliot Engel. He's a member of the foreign policy establishment, this hawk, endorsed by Hillary Clinton. Fraud, con, neoliberal piece of crap. Jamal Bowman ousted him by 25 points. AOC won her primary, 72 points. Won 72% of the vote, man. AOC up against a fundraising disadvantage down that race as well. Tremendous victory for her. You also had Mondaire Jones, either one of or the first openly gay black man to be elected to Congress. Tremendous victory down there in New York. You had Richie Torres as well up in New York, wearing a huge progressive victory. So, New York clean clocks. You have progressive candidates all across New York cleaning clocks. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. You had Marie Newman in a race not too long ago, a couple months back. She won her primary. You had Jessica Cisneros pushing Henry something. He's an establishment Democrat guy. She pushed him to the edge down in Texas. You had Charles Booker up against Amy McGrath in Kentucky. This was another huge race, received a lot of press coverage. That is the Senate race to go up against Mitch McConnell. And he pushed Amy McGrath to the edge. She outspent him by $20 million. But you had a volunteer army coming in. You had Sunrise coming in, placing hundreds of thousands of calls all across the state of Kentucky. They were able to slim the margins. And on election day, Charles Booker won overwhelmingly. But it was the absentee ballot advantage because of that money that pushed Amy McGrath over the edge. But it shows you what happens when we come together as a volunteer army, as a progressive army, as a donation army, as a small dollar army, as a progressive insurgency. And we put our heads together, we put our resources together, and we fight. That's what happens, man. So tremendous work. Again, Sunrise was a huge part of the Bowman victories. Booker's very close victory. Romanoff down there in Colorado ran a great campaign against Hickenlooper, the cereal box fart up down in there. Ran a great campaign against him. Sunrise is a big part of that as well. But also tremendous victories for other progressives in other congressional races that didn't receive as much coverage. So it's cause for celebration, man. You have potentially, definitely actually, because it's New York, you have 4 more insurgent progressive candidates going to be coming into the Congress moving forward. But this is what I want to be talking about, man. This is a lesson as well, because Sunrise was talking about this earlier. In the races that we lost, and I'll take Charles Booker, main example. This is a talented politician. Charles Booker is the future. This guy, his slogan was from the hood to the holler. He was uniting poor black people and poor white people, Trump voters and Biden voters and whoever black people vote for. He was uniting the ghetto and the slums, trailer parks of Eastern Kentucky. He was uniting all of them together in this progressive coalition and bringing them out to the polls. That's how talented of a politician Charles Booker was. Fiery black man with some goddamn political talent. He was down there at the Louisville protest for Breonna Taylor. He was showing his support down there. Charles Booker is the real deal. He's an inspirational. He's a talented politician. Obama with backbone. That's what I like to call him. Obama with some goddamn backbone. You know what I'm saying? And instead of pouring all of our resources into those races, right? You did have Bernie endorsed. You had AOC endorsed. I think Elizabeth Warren endorsed. That was huge. But instead of pouring all of our resources, a volunteer army into these races, Justice Democrats, Sunrise, Pedro CCC, Brand New Congress, all these organizations coming in and pouring every ounce that they have into this race. Instead, many organizations neglected that race. This is the problem. We had some great victories. And even with us neglecting some of these races, we still had huge victories. But this is the problem. We have to come together as a political force. The progressive left has to become, as I've said time and time again, a political force. You have to have some version of unity, some version of coordinated action across organizations. We can't just be this hodgepodge of organizations. We have to be an army that pours resources in a coordinated effort into races that we know are winnable. Booker's race was winnable. That is a talented politician, and he pushed her within 2 or 3 points, being outspent by $20 million. That shows you how close we got. And if we poured more into that race, could have won overwhelmingly. So that's another huge learning experience. The window has shifted. This is now the time for progressives to take advantage. You're talking about COVID-19, a pandemic, economic depression, planet still dying, jobs being lost, eviction crisis. People are scared. People are desperate. They see that we need a UBI. They see we need a Green New Deal. They see we need Medicare for all, but they need a voice. They need a unified force that they can plug right into and see real change. So that's what we have to represent. That's what we have to be moving towards moving forward. So I'm imploring, and I'm going to tell Sunrise this, whoever can goddamn listen, and I hope y'all start screaming this too. We have to be united. We have to call on these organizations to endorse, to pour their volunteer army, to pour in their donation army, the small dollar army, the progressive army, and whatever race is winnable, wherever we can pick apart victories. You know what I'm saying? We have to become a political force. This can't just be some hodgepodge fringe, the fringe left, the radical left. No, that's not who we are. We are the majority position. And it's time for us to start acting like it because we have real political power if we choose to utilize it. So tremendous victories, cause for celebration, but also cause for learning. You know what I'm saying? The lesson out of this is it's time to unite. It's time to get serious because this is the time to capitalize, y'all. So that's the last story of the day, man. I had a pleasure, man. It was fun doing this hour-long segment with y'all. Till next time, man, it's been your boy. Tune in next Wednesday. And not next Wednesday, what the fuck? Tune in this Wednesday and this Friday. Got one more good quality content, man. Hit a brother up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on there. YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. Till next time, it's been your boy, Drake. Enjoy.
Yeah, we riding.